Problem.
Amen. Welcome to Trenton Mixed Media with Longitude Ambassador Joel Troy II on WIMG 1300 AM, 1300 AM WIMG. Trenton Talks Radio sponsored weekly by 1300 AM WIMG on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. You can catch it at www.wimg1300.com and on Facebook at True Heart TV, as well as on YouTube. Also, my professional profile page on Facebook at 7 p.m. on Thursdays. We're so thankful for the opportunity to share great news in our communities and conversations with our community partners here in the capital city of Trenton, New Jersey, and the greater Trenton region and greater Trenton area. I had the pleasure tonight of welcoming to our broadcast tonight on 1300 AM WIMG, 5-time Stellar Award Gospel Station, Louise McCants, CEO of the Capital Area YMCA, Young Men's Christian Association. We're so thankful for her for taking her time out of her busy schedule to share the great news and conversation with our listening audience tonight. And Louise, I tell you, we've known each other for some time. I thank God for you and the work that you've done over the years and your rise to CEO of this great organization that's greatly needed in our capital city. Louise McCants, CEO. I tell you, Trenton Central High grad, Dell State grad, HBCU. I want to say I'm proud, but I know we're about the same age, around the same age. So I mean, I'm excited. I'm enthusiastic about the great work that our HBCU grads and Trenton High grads are responsible for, that are working in our community, have come back to our city to do the great work that's required, helping families and children, and I mean all the great programming that you do, not only in Trenton, over on Pennington Avenue, but in Lawrence and Ewing and Hamilton and all the greater Trenton surrounding area, the capital area. Louise, I mean, what's happening at the YMCA? What's one of the stellar moments at the YMCA this year for you?
Well, let me first thank you for allowing me to come on your platform. This is wonderful. I love spreading the good news about the great things in Trenton and our surrounding areas and what we're doing over here at the Y. The Y's been in Trenton since 1856, so it's been around for a long, 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 long time. And we continually keep pivoting to serve the community needs, by assessing what they want. So this year, just when I came aboard 2 years ago, so it's been 2 years since I've been here at the Y as the CEO, we did a community assessment and, really concentrated on areas in which the community wanted. And one of those things, of course, was our child care program, to continue to strengthen that and enroll more kids, coming out of COVID. Senior programming was an area that was, expressed widely, that they wanted more programming for our seniors. So we really took that mantle up as well. And our seniors, I call them my sensational seniors. They're dancing and tapping. They get asked to do gigs. So godly proud of them, that, we have some of our seniors are up to the age of 84 that's out there tapping. And so I'm very excited for our Community Dance Academy, which they're a part of. And they have saved the date, June 22nd at the War Memorial. We will have a recital. And one of the other things that was expressed in our community needs assessment was the need for swim lessons for our youth and adults, because, Trenton and the surrounding areas is surrounded by water. With the Delaware River and as well as the canal. And so this year, we will be doing lessons. Last year, we got our pool renovated. So our board saw, we listened, our board of directors listened to what the community said in those assessments and supported my wish to get the pool renovated, and it is a beautiful pool. We opened it last year to just our campers so that they can have full use of it. But this year we are expanding our use of the pool by giving lessons. And I've been working very hard to get free lessons, not only for our campers enrolled at our capital area Y, but also other nonprofits. So we're out here, besides that, our food access program, we're sponsoring 26 programs right now, and feeding about 1,000 kids daily that are in preschool and after school programs. And so that's another fun part of the job of making sure that kids are being fed daily. And we're doing we're working very hard to maintain that program, just looking for some extra funding because after all, as we know, Trenton was designated as a food desert. And there's a lot of food insecurity in our neighborhoods in Trenton, Ewing, and Lawrence. And so with that, the Y, definitely have been making a big mark in that area during the pandemic. And we continue to sponsor, like I said, 26 different programs. And so now that some of that funding has dried up for the food access program, I've been working really hard to get some more funding so that, we can feed more and more kids, especially with the summer coming up. That's when a lot of kids go hungry because there's no school. And that's sometimes where they get those, 2 or 3 meals a day. But I will say we do offer summer camp. And so we do feed our children here at the Capital Area YMCA summer camp that's in Trenton. We also have one in Lawrence, but in Trenton, they do get breakfast, lunch as well, and some snacks. So we're doing a lot over here, Gerald.
No, I can tell. Matter of fact, I had the flyer, Camp Adventures at Rider University. This is your Lawrence branch. I mean, you're serving the greater Trenton area,
Right.
And you're doing a great job at it. Great summer start at the Capital Area YMCA, Richmond Arts, Craft, Sports, STEM projects, open instructional swimming, and so much more. I mean, you have opportunities to be here. Space definitely is limited, but you also provide opportunities and referrals to other organizations. Kids entering first grade, sixth grade, 7th to 10th grade. Financial assistance is available, subsidies accepted. I mean, swimming lessons. We talked about swimming lessons.
Yes.
One of the last times we had a conversation, we talked about opportunities to provide our students with swimming, because many of our students just don't know how to swim, and they really need to know how to swim.
70% of African Americans and 60% of Latinx people, not even just students, people do not know how to swim. And as you are aware, we're in Lawrence at 5 different elementary schools, and we have our summer camp at Rider. So we'll be doing lessons at Rider University as well for those kids enrolled at that summer camp, as well as the one in Trenton. So we want a continuum of services of serving our area, but swimming, safety around water is very important. We're petitioning it from the YUSA, from national, that that communities take a more active role in making sure that the youth really grow up knowing safety around water. You're aware, you're here in this area, you're definitely a very community minded person, which I love. And kudos to you for all you do in Lawrence and in Trenton. That we've had some incidents where children have drowned. And
Yes.
so we are petitioning from YUSA and locally with our New Jersey Y Alliance just recently down at the State House about, maybe the government, offering some type of funding so that the Y, who's known for teaching swimming lessons, swimming for the last over 100 years and serve about 1 million people annually, teach swimming annually across the country, that we're the perfect organization to lead this charge to make sure that children are learning how to swim, or learning not only how to swim but safety around water. So we have a lot to do, and that's the great thing, is that we got a lot of people here at the Y that's willing to do the work. We have a fantastic team here who are really bought into this community.
Yes, indeed. I mean, you can't graduate, Trenton High without taking swimming class. Now, whether you get in the pool and swim or not, that's a whole other issue, right? And
Now
so,
that's an old one, Gerald. Now you should know already they don't require that anymore, and that's of something most people don't know, that with the redistricting of the schools, and years ago, they stopped it years ago that it was mandatory that you had to get in the pool and learn how to swim. Like when I graduated many moons ago, uh,
Mm-hmm.
I, many decades ago, that if you had to learn how to swim before you graduated. And you had to actually learn before you got out of junior high school, or there was like a penalty to go to high school and have to take pool at Trenton High. But most people learned while they were in junior high, so they don't have that anymore. But what the Y is doing is collaborating with organizations such as Children's Home Society and Boys and Girls Club, that we are using a pool after school to teach students how to swim.
It may not be a requirement now. I know my son graduated Trenton High in 2023, and I got phone calls from gym teachers talking about he's not getting in the pool. He's not getting in the pool as one of the requirements to, I guess one of the gym requirements during
It's
that
the gym
semester
requirement.
to be in the pool and be. I'm not sure. In other words, not learning how to swim necessarily, but certainly being in the pools. We definitely need to make that requirement. I knew I couldn't graduate from Morehouse without having a swimming lesson and not being able to swim at the collegiate level.
Very good for Morehouse,
Yeah,
HBCUs.
yeah, absolutely. My son graduated 2016. I graduated in 88 some time ago, a little
The
while
good
ago.
years. The good
3
years.
years, right? That's right. So I mean, the importance of the work that you've been doing and the skills that you have. I mean, talk about strategic planning, program development, performance management, leadership and collaboration, talent acquisition, retention, community diversity and planning. I mean, I can go on all these skill sets that you have: campaign design, multi-program, site management, compliance, and record management. I mean, the list goes on and on about your skill set. How do you apply that skill set to everyday management of operations at the YMCA? And you have about I think 100 staff members
Mhm.
that you're managing at that location or multiple locations
Yes.
around the city in the Greater Trenton area.
Well, when we were just having a conversation before we got on air, I was just, really talking about how all of my experiences of working in various community organizations, my past job experience with not only Children's Home Society, but being a vice president at Capital City Contracting, and being a director of a contract administrator, director of administrator, and just, working all over the place. All of those experiences helped me to be able to run the budget, to manage multiple
Mhm.
people at different locations, because it's all about, that connection, of showing up and being there for one another. My motto is teamwork makes the dream work. And so my staff know that I'm going to be everywhere they are. So if the kids are having an event, I'm there supporting. If they need, help with planning and managing their budget, of course I'm there to try to, steer them in the direction so that their programs can be successful. So I use everything I learn to help others,
Mm.
grow in their position, because that's the way you have to be, because succession planning is real. So all of those things of doing, the campaign management, because it's all about brands. We live in this world now where your brand needs to speak, even before anyone really knows what your organization is about, because the why. You think certain things, but we have to, manage our brand of our capital area YMCA, because every Y is different, and we just want to be that sparkle that makes someone say, well, let me find out what capital area YMCA is doing. So me as the CEO, I just give all the glory to God, and really, because it's an
Amen.
assignment. I
Amen.
mean, it is really an assignment, because who knew, going to leadership conferences while I was at Trenton High. Trenton High really did pour into me as well. all
Amen.
those wonderful
Amen.
teachers, all those
Yeah.
wonderful
They're
teachers and
still pouring. They're still pouring in the kids. Yes. Go ahead.
they pour into those teachers pour into me. And the great thing is now they're seniors and I get to see them. I get to see Dr. Campbell and a few of the Trent
Right.
High teachers. And so I have something to live up to. And the of course the deaconess and all the people in church that poured into me as well. I have no choice but to pour it out. And not just, to our youth, but to our staff to really try to get. And I always tell the kids, I'm the CEO you can touch because I want
Amen.
you to take my job. I want you to take my job. I want to teach you what I know so that, and that starts even at the smallest ones because, children are children are my heart. I really, really love kids and I'm going to do everything in my power within my power to make sure, we're serving all of these kids because it may seem a little cliche, but all kids are my kids. That's how I feel. All the kids in the world, if I see a child, my heart is always going to go out to them and seeing what I can do. You don't have to just be a Trentonian or a Lawrence or you're in Lawrence or Ewing. I just love children all together and want the best for them. I collaborate with other Ys to try to make sure that their programming is just as robust as ours, and that they're serving their kids in the manner as well as me get information from everybody else as well. Because, hey, I don't know it all. I'm still learning. I'm always open to learning, especially if it's going to benefit my community. I want to do the best that I can do. Because this is my assignment and God didn't put me in this position to fail. So,
Amen. Amen.
mhm.
Amen. We're listening to 1300 AM WIMG, a 5-time Stellar Winning Gospel Station. We're here tonight. Trenton Makes Media on WIMG Trenton Talks Radio broadcast with Louise McCants, CEO, Capital Area YMCA, and the great work that she's doing. She's raised $500,000 in program revenues in her first year. Some of her key accomplishments: she's successfully managed as a program manager. She's working with various programs, starting KICS, which is Kids Intervention with Kids in School, Trent Education Dance Institute. She's increased lead program performance metrics, alignment efforts, and program diversification improvement participation by 15%. Execute development plans focused on aggression, pathing to enhance youth literacy competency growth, which yielded a 35% increase in graduation rates within 2 years. My sister and my friend, Louise McCants, CEO, Trenton area, Capital Area, YMCA. God bless you for your work.
Oh, thank you. And a lot of that is, from my time when I was at Children's Home Society. Teddy was a program that was in the city that was a little on the decline, and our agency at the time, Children's Home Society, took it over. So they passed it to me and said, "Hey, let's make this thing great again." And it was a great challenge, but we did. And Teddy, has been in the city since 1989. So I was very happy to do so and get it back to his, I won't say former glory, and the program still stands. So that was not something I've done, but just to keep that going along. Same with Kicks, which was in this no longer a program, which I hope the government funds again because kids need other kids to really be a peer to them. And it was a great program that we had at that agency. And Positive Impact, you can still see that on kids back all around the city. And we still collaborate with them because that is my legacy right there, that Positive Impact program. And that was since 2005. So I got kids that are grown now that still call me from time to time that I mentor as well. So, all of that, and I was at Trenton High. So with that Positive Impact program, I was able to be in from K to 12 for 17 years. I was, I headed up that program. So I, worked with a lot of young people, and we made a lot of great change with utilizing ability to raise money. And so I just brought that over to the Y. One of the things that I was very good is telling the story. and you have to tell your story. And it's some great things, great, wonderful people in Trenton, that the story has to be told in the manner so that people want to support and get behind it. And so just coming over here to the Y, that's what I did. That's what I do. I want everybody to know how wonderful the Y is at doing programming and have people get behind it. And so, I'm hoping and, praying that we definitely continue this run. I mean, the Y has been around since 1856, so it's going to go on. It was before me and it's going to definitely go on by after me. But what I wanted to do after me is leave that succession of a legacy that, keeps it strong and in this community that we are really serving. So everything that I can possibly do, I'm willing to do for this capital area YMCA, to see it grow, to see our city, our city grow in the services that's done, and that somebody will literally say, well, like me, I was a Y kid. I went to Y camp. I went to Camp Meta. And so I could say, yeah, hey, a Y kid became a Y CEO. So I want another kid to say the same thing,
That's right.
and that's all with being there and showing them that they can do it. When you see it, you can believe it. And, that's what a lot of our youth, how they are. They won't believe it until they see it for themselves. So here I am, just a little girl from Trenton, various sections at that. So my story is not an easy story. I went to a lot of different schools here in Trenton, and graduated from Trenton High, and did not have an easy road to get where I got to. But it's all divine purpose, and you just try to push that narrative as well, that when you trust God's
Yes,
plan.
ma'am.
God's
Amen.
plan is way better than any plan you can plan for yourself. And,
Yes.
sometimes it take you to get a certain age to realize
Yeah,
that.
look back and realize how much God brought you through.
Right, exactly. But we are, I mean, the great thing is we are a Christian organization, but, of course, we're all very much inclusive. We
Mhm.
just use our mission is to use our faith principles to build a healthy body, mind, and soul for everyone.
And one of the things I want to share with folks and to dig deep into is how you bring your experience from other organizations, whether it be Children's Home Society New Jersey, whether it be Capital City Contracting Inc., and now spending that time or spending that knowledge that you gained on the capacity building that you have to go through to build the capacity, right, to manage 100 and plus employees and to manage the $4.65 million budget and growing, to raise $500,000 in your first year, bringing in $500,000 in your first year as CEO,
Mhm.
allowing people to recognize that you don't just go from 0 to 10, right? Like a car goes 0 to 10. It takes steps and progress and capacity building to be able to get to that level and to get to that point. I mean, graduating Trenton Central High School, going on to Dell State, getting a bachelor's degree from Dell State. Um, it's a path, it's a
Mhm.
journey that you took,
Mhm.
that you had to walk by faith, not by sight. Because if you walk with what you saw, you may not have finished that journey, right? But you had faith in God and your creator, like you said, and you were able to graduate Trent High. You were able to graduate Dell State. You were able to come back to your community and give and have impact and then build your capacity to now become the CEO of the Trenton
Well,
area YMCA. I mean, that's just phenomenal. I mean, as a role model.
I have
Go
the
ahead, Louise.
community behind me. Like I said, the great thing is I have a huge family here in Trenton that very supportive, and pushed me along the way, uh, to take all, especially my dad, was my definitely my number one cheerleader. All the jobs that I had, even working at the state when I was at Trenton High, I used to work for the state of New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection as a clerk. So learning, and I was a systems person, so reorganizing how they file their permits and stuff was something I did very early on. But that just showed, you use everything you have. So, being an administrative assistant, you really do learn customer service, and you take that, forward with you. Um, being a vice president of a contracting company, I definitely learned about how to manage properties, and, doing payroll, and doing the behind the scenes stuff of knowing how to get a permit, knowing what goes into mechanical drawings and all of that good stuff. And managing Teddy, which was at various different schools and had over 300 students dancing, had definitely helped me prepare to have the full understanding of our community dance academy that we have here at the Y. That's 100 kids. And so doing the food access program, which we managed 26 programs, I was a sponsor before, so I knew how to work with the Department of Agriculture to make sure you sponsor kids, and you did everything according to the rules, so that you didn't lose funding and kids didn't lose the ability to eat in after school programs. So that helped me. And of course, being the school director and doing positive impact at so many different places, from, like I said, using from K all the way up to 12th grade, definitely prepared me to have 5 different schools in Lawrence, and then our facility here in Trenton. And it just makes me want to grow it even more, because just passing some of that experience off, and knowledge off to other people. And the wonderful team here at the Y that I inherited are great. I came in with some different processes, to kind of trying to shore it up a little bit, to work in the manner, like use some of my experiences to say, hey, can we do, we can do it this way, but being a collaborative type effort as well, because I needed to learn the Y way, because the Y has their, the Y is a huge organization. YUSA has over 3,000 different associations, and 3,000 branches, I'm sorry, but 783 different associations. And I will tell you, Gerald, most people don't know, but uh, of that 700 and something, there's only about 50 minority CEOs. And of that minority CEOs, there are only 6 Black women. So I know that I have a greater responsibility as well, not even just here in the Trenton, Ewing, and Lawrence, but I have a greater purpose inside the Y movement to, be successful at doing this and serving our community, because we need to bring more people into this huge organization that need more representation of minority women. And so I know I carry that on my back as well, and of course carry my city on my back. And so I use all the experience I have to just be as great as as I can, to do all that I can, to push our Y forward, and of course push our communities forward.
I mean, you remind me of a play I went to called Black Girl Magic at the Y McCarter Theater out Mercer County Community College. We went to a
Mhm.
play with our church, Black Girl Magic, and how you were describing um, the dynamics of the involvement or the opportunities for Black women in CEO role,
Mhm.
and how you narrowed it down to how many were in that role. I said, you got Black Girl Magic. You just,
Hey, I got to give kudos to Sam too. I got to
oh
give
no,
kudos to
amen. There
Sam
you go.
Frisbee,
Sam
the
Frisbee. That's
former,
right.
yeah, he was just the CEO. And the story as it goes, and is no secret now. He gave me a call, and I was coasting. I mean, I'll admit it. I was coasting in my position where I was at. I was fine. I was coasting into retirement. I could do that job with my eyes closed. And I had 3 people ready to take my job. When I left 3 people who could easily, because I trained them to do it all along the way, because I feel that way even now, that you should be training up training up somebody, you should be training up multiple people to know exactly what you do, because you can't be the one that knows everything. It can't just be one. And so with that, I definitely want more minorities, male and female, to be in this movement. I mean, when I came on, I had the opportunity to hire a COO, and I hired Eric Bullock,
My
a
man,
young,
Eric Bullock.
yeah,
Yeah,
young black male.
that's a
He's a
good
younger
brother.
black man that's,
Yeah,
has is doing or has done some things in the community, is doing things in the community. And so that just helps the movement, not just our community, because like I
right.
said, I'm always going to think of the community, but I also have to think of the wide movement as a whole as well. Like I said, our team here is a great team. We do have a diverse workforce here, because we do work amongst the community and we should look like the community. And so we have a diverse workforce. But I also want to make sure that diverse workforce not only stay at the the level of, program director and such, but I want everybody to be able to move up to, if they want to be the COO or the CEO. The Y has a long history of a lifeguard becoming a CEO.
Wow,
The way
nice.
that they have the movement, and most people don't know this, so I'm gonna let you in. Let me pull the veil
Come
back a
on,
little
man,
bit.
come
Let
on.
me pull the veil back a little bit. That you can work at the membership desk, and they have training programs and everything to get you in there, and that you can learn organizational leadership and get all these different certificates and then become a CEO. It's plenty CEOs across this country who started as a lifeguard, or I started at the membership desk. I started as a part-time, camp person, and then now they're CEOs. And so, that's not my story, because I came from the outside. They call me a parachuter because I parachuted in. But most
Parachute.
people who work at the Y, the CEOs, that is, they've been there for 30 years, and I'm like, 30, 40 years. That sound like like the old manufacturer plants. Remember when
Yeah,
your mom, dad worked at GE
yeah,
or the post
yeah.
office or something for 40 years? That
Yeah.
doesn't happen nowadays. But in the Y, it
Right.
does.
Right. Right.
It does. It still happens at the Y. It still happens at the Y that people are there, been there for 40 years.
I mean, you're a walking testimony. You're a walking epistle for young black women. I mean, I'm talking about women, young black women at Trenton Central High,
Mm.
those in Lawrence, those in Ewing, Hamilton, the Greater Trenton area, because you're an example, right, that they can follow. They can say, oh, you know what? If Sister McCants, if CEO McCants can do it, and she graduated Trenton High, which is
Hmm.
a great. Trenton High is a wonderful organization in its right. We graduate some great students who are doing great work
Yeah.
in the community, going to great schools, doing phenomenal work, right?
Hmm.
And that's what we need to be promoting and sharing with folks, right? But these young black women can look up to you and say, if Miss McCann, if Sister McCants can do it, I can do it. And you laid the groundwork for them to show them the way.
Because somebody did it for me. you
Amen.
know
That's right.
Somebody did it for me, and I'll never take for granted that, I stand on shoulders, and
I
I
told you
just
that
try
black
to
girl magic. I told you. I'm telling
I
you.
stand on
Man.
shoulders. I just want to make people proud. The one thing that, I will say in this Y movement, when people invite me to come and talk, or, different things, because there is programs to try to get more minority people involved in the Y, because obviously they know 783 and only 50 are minorities. Come on, you got to do better than that. So they do have programs. So every time I'm out at these conferences, because they'll invite me, the young people are like, wow, and you look like you, because I got locks, and I'm not maybe the typical, what they may expect a black female CEO to look like. But I just come as my authentic self. I am enough. And I just try to make sure young people know that they're enough as well, that your experiences will help you. Don't be ashamed of it. I'm not never going to be ashamed that I graduated from Trent High, that, I went to HBCU, that, I'm from Trenton, love Trenton. My parents had whatever, well, they had it wasn't a straight route of
Right,
me growing
right.
up as
Yeah,
a kid.
it was a challenge.
It was a
It was
challenge. Hey,
a challenge for our parents.
I'm a product of my parents were drug addicts, and got clean when I was a grown person. And so just navigating through that and having community that poured into me, despite everything that was going on to help me get to where I was or am, that makes a difference. And so I only can do that. That's I much is given, much is required. And so
Yeah,
that's what I
yeah.
do. I try to reach out to I reach
Mhm.
out to the young people. And that's why I said they're all my kids. I stop kids on the when they're walking by our office and be like, how you doing? Are you okay? Because some of their faces are,
Right.
walking around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're going. I'll tell you, my son graduated Trenton High, and we're a strong unit family, and graduate. I'm a graduate from Morehouse College, and my son graduated as his older brother, and so he has examples to follow. And he shared, man, that folks are hurting, man. Folks are going through some things. Young people are going through things,
Yes,
and
they are.
for you to well, of course you're going to recognize because you're a Trenton High grad, you're a Dell State grad. You know, you know what it's like growing up in the city of Trenton and being part of the struggle, right?
Mhm.
But you recognize that, and you're reaching out to these young women and young men, pulling them in and asking them, "How are you doing today?" You know what? And a lot of folks they don't hear that every day. They're not hearing that.
No.
They're
My
hearing
motto,
they're hearing what they're hearing is what you doing, why you doing this, why everything's negative, right? And so to have that positive reinforcement to come in and pull them in and say, hey, just want to talk to you, want to see how you're doing, make sure you're okay. That's
I greet
that's
all the
major.
kids.
That's major.
It's always wonderful when you hear kids, say your words back to you, after, they're grown and they come back and, they can just say, I remember you calling us wonderful every day, because I would greet them, hi, wonderfuls,
I
you know,
wonderful.
hi, wonderfuls. And
Right.
whatever they were going through, I would always say, like, finish
Finish strong.
strong,
Right. If you run that race, finish. That's right.
finish
I tell my
strong,
son the same thing. You gotta finish strong, no matter
and when
what.
you care, and I tell my staff, when you care, you correct.
Right.
When you
Right.
care, you correct. If you don't care, you'll just let somebody just go off the cliff. But when you care, you're gonna say, "Hold, hold, hold! Stop. Wait a second. Let me. This it's a dead end right there." But if you don't care, you're just gonna let somebody go. I mean, that's a model that I live by. Sometimes my little sister is like, "You care too much." Sometimes, like you don't need to stop everybody, and say something. But
Hey, sometimes
uh,
hey, you do you do I know. My big brother told me the same thing one time. I said, you know what, man, I need to do what I do. That's my personality. I love people and I love talking to people, I love encouraging people. And so I'm going to continue to do that work.
Yes, and I do the same, at my alma mater as well. I belong
Yeah.
to the Alumni Association. We got, different groups that we do a lot of community service, not only, during like homecomings and stuff, but we go back to where we were because we were students there. We were young people in that town in Dover, Delaware. And so now we still just go back. I'm a part of our class of 19, I'm the chair of our class of 1994 alumni because we're the first class of Delaware State University. And so,
Oh,
we,
okay. All right.
yes,
That's
we
right.
were
It
at
was Dell
college
State.
before, but
It
we
was
became a
Dell State College. Now,
university. Yes.
okay. Now, see there. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So
Go ahead.
I was at the college that became university. And so we
That's
do
right.
a lot. Yeah.
No,
So
that's
that
right.
we can, pour into the young people. And I mean, it's everything from giving them professional attire, helping them
Yeah,
get ready for job
right. You
interviews.
gotta give them some swag. What's up? Come on
You
now.
know, the
Yeah.
Dell State is, I mean, and that's just young people. And like, it's just doesn't stop. It doesn't turn off. Like you were saying with your brother and like you do too much. It doesn't turn off. You just do it in all aspects of your life.
Right.
My seniors, I love them just as much, um, they I want to call me, they can punk me anytime because I'll do anything for the seniors. I mean, I've even gotten in their car, like, let me drive you, because I don't
Right,
want
right.
let me drive you here, because I do love them as well. I mean, I love all people, but my heart is between these kids and the seniors because they're the most, I won't say vulnerable, because a smile and the caring question goes a long way with a child as well as it does with an older person. Sometimes those in between ages you can get a lot of pushback, but the young and the old, oh, they'll indulge you.
Mm. Oh, I tell you, I want to thank you for being a part of this broadcast. And I mean, we've got so much more to talk about. So we're going to have to do a part 2, part 3, part 4. I mean, we're going to have to come back and
Well, can I give a plug?
yeah,
Because we got a couple
absolutely,
of events at
absolutely.
the
Please do,
Y coming up.
please do.
Our Healthy Kids Day, our senior program director, Miss Renee Riddles Davison, really puts on a great, with our team at the Y, puts on a great Healthy Kids Day, which is a free event for everyone in the community. We work with a lot of community partners that come out to our facility at 431 Pennington Avenue to provide free resources for a lot, for the families in our community. So if you have a chance to come out April 27th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., of course, bring the kids, food, free prizes, gifts. It's a lot going to happen that day. And so I definitely got to give that plug. And then our next event, we have 2 events in June. One is our golf outing at Yasna Polana. Feel free to join that because that supports our Y and it's going to support kids getting free swim lessons. And then we have our recital, which our Community Dance Academy recital is June 22nd. And you'll see some dynamic kids and adults from 3. I think the youngest is 3 years old and the oldest is 84.
I've seen y'all. I've seen y'all dance. Y'all. I mean, I've seen you at Omega. We had you at Omega. Omega's our 5 event. We
Yes.
honored Davidson, and I tell you, yeah, I hear you.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I mean, I danced last
No
year.
doubt
I'm gonna
about
get
it.
back up there this year and dance
No doubt
because
about it.
dance is a good thing for your soul,
Man.
and that's another way to bring the community out. To have some fun. We need to have fun together. And that's some good, heart wrenching, because some of those dances will bring tears to your eyes because those kids are so passionate. And then of course our seniors, they steal the show every time because they tap. They're in there tapping, and makes you want to get up and join. So please, if you can, attend our events. It is all to support our capital area YMCA so that we can continue to thrive in this community. And of course, we have our wellness center. We really want people to start to really concentrate. Their health is their wealth, and come out and join our facility, our wellness center
I need
here.
I need to do a little some of this here too. So I need to
Come
get
on over, Gerald. Come on over.
some dumbbell. I need.
It's more than just a community center, a wellness center. It's really a sense of community. Everybody
Yeah,
belongs at the YMCA. Everybody feels
absolutely.
welcome and everybody belongs. It's really a community organization.
Amen. I promise to have you back. We have more to talk about as we continue to come back and do the great work for the city of Trenton. Louise McCants, CEO of the Capital Area YMCA. So thankful for her presence today. Trenton Makes Media with Ambassador Joe. True Art, 1300 AM WIMG, Trenton Talks Radio broadcast, Tuesday, 7 p.m. Tune in. Matter of fact, tune in to the IM 1300 AM WIMG every single day. Hear the great gospel, 5 times stellar winning gospel station, music for the soul. You can catch us on Tuesdays at 7 p.m., Thursdays at 7 p.m. on my professional profile page, as well as our True Heart TV on YouTube. I want to thank Louise. I thank you so much for your time tonight and your sharing tonight, your willingness to share the great news. The gospel, I want to say the good news is the gospel, right? So you're sharing
Yes,
the
it is. Yes,
gospel
it
of the
is.
YMCA and the work that you're doing, but also how you walk by faith and not by sight, how you're walking in the faith that God has ordained you with. And you shared that tonight. And so I thank you so much for your time tonight. We're going to be back with Sister Louise McCants, CEO Capital Area YMCA. In the next few episodes, you're going to see her back again. We're going to share some more great news about more programs and different programs that she's involved in with the YMCA Greater Trenton area, Capital Area Y here in the Greater Trenton area. God bless you. Thank you so much. God bless.